Hey, I'm Chris Edwards with Tennis Warehouse. I'm here with Prince's Tim Parduk. And Tim, we've got some new stuff coming this year. First off, the start at the player's end of the spectrum, my favorite part in rackets. And we've got the 03 Phantom 100X. Talk to us a little bit about, one, the demand for this type of racket, and what people love about this ported player's racket.
Yeah, we're really excited about the 03 Phantom 100X. Obviously, this is a type of racket that's been synonymous with Prince players' frames, you know, throughout history. We've done the very thin beam, round head shape type of frame, you know, with the original graphites, and then obviously for us the 03 Tour 100, which, as you know, has been one of the most demanded frames on the warehouse message board. So for us, it was something that we really wanted to take a look at again. This is the second generation of the 03 Phantom 100, and we've really gone back to the drawing board with it to try to make sure that it was really delivering on the playability that our fans expected, that they were used to with the 03 Tour 100. So it's really a ground up redesign. We're super excited about the way that this racket plays. And I'm sure you guys have tested it as well and have fallen in love with it already, I'm sure.
Yeah, we really like the playability. I got to hit it a little bit with an 03, and you can tour the original one, and you can really feel the heritage of that racket in this racket's design. It's got that super plush pocket that you get at contact. It feels really fast and whippy, I think, because the pulls just help it come through the air a little bit quicker. And yet, a really nice blend, I think, of my two takeaways. Well, three really. Control and spin being the two primary benefits, and then you just get that comfortable response that ported rackets get.
Yeah, there's really nothing like it in tennis. The 03 feeling is there, and you know, we really wanted to make sure that we brought all of the modern technology that we have with the TechStream and the ATS, but we tried to really deliver that playability that we had on the 03 Tour 100. So, you know, we've worked hard on this one. We're really happy with how it plays, and we're excited for everybody to get their hands on it and play it.
Now, are there any challenges to bring this type of racket to market?
Yeah, I mean, you know, it's definitely a more complicated racket to produce. You know, it's really a little unusual in the players section to have a frame like this. So there's not really a competitor in that space, but we're really sort of competing against our history and our heritage. And obviously that's very important for us to make sure that we're talking to our consumer base and players that have loved Prince frames. So there's a lot of pressure trying to get a frame that, you know, sort of suits them and they believe in. But again, I think we've managed to blend sort of the modern constructions and modern technologies that we see in our current frames with a lot of that heritage feel, and it's been a fun challenge, but we're excited about it.
And then when you're designing a racket like this, what's the player type you have in mind that's ideally suited?
So obviously this type of player, it's definitely a baseliner that likes to hit with spin, really looking for that plush feel. I think it's really, again, it's unlike anything else that's out there. So we had so many players playing with the 03 Tour 100 and loving it that haven't been able to find a similar frame. So they're really sort of a group by themselves. But it is definitely a baseline player that hits with spin, that's looking for control, and just is looking for that different sensation to anything else out there.
Let's take a jump up in power.
Yeah, definitely a jump up.
And we've got the ripstick here.
Yep.
100 square inches, much thicker beam, as you can see from the profile, but still a ported racket. Tell us a little bit about this one.
Yeah, so this is the new Ripstick 100. Obviously, we had the Ripstick 100 in our line the last time round. It's really it's a much more powerful frame than, you know, what we're talking about with the 03 Phantom 100. We have a really aggressive CTS construction. We have a really aggressive O-port design that just allows the strings to move and gives them a lot of freedom. Huge sweet spot for generating power from the back of the court. You know, if you're really looking to get that put away power in a racket, it really is such easy power. It's such an easy racket to hit with from really anywhere on the court, but those players looking for powerful baseline shots are gonna love this.
So your CTS, your constant taper system's been around a long time. I mean, I remember growing up playing rackets, you know, like the CTS approach was really popular back in the day. It was a pretty wide beam at the top, pretty skinny down by the handle. Tell us why you've kept that technology around and why that's important.
Yeah, it's really been something that's worked for Prince for a long time, and we like to look back at our heritage rackets and technologies that have worked for us. I think it really suits this type of power frame, particularly because we can make the the shaft a little slimmer and still give it that flex and not make it overly stiff. But you know, when you're hitting serves and returns in the upper part of the hoop, you're still getting that return, you're getting that power out of the top of the hoop. So it's a nice blend for us. It's a technology that's worked really well for that reason over the years. And I just think it really suits this racket with the O-ports as well.
And the player type for this one?
Yeah, and it's a baseline player, but a very different type of player, obviously, to an 03 Phantom. Somebody looking for big put-away shots, you know. But again, it's really a racket that's actually quite versatile and suits a lot of different players as well. So I would recommend anybody to go out and try it. But if you're looking for that power, this is a great stick for you. Really good.
Yeah, when I hit it, really impressed by the power, especially off the baseline, and it's a very solid racket. So when I came up to the net, doesn't flutter, even when you're up against a lot of incoming pace. I thought it was a really stable racket as well.
Yeah.
And let's talk about the Ripcord next. I'll let you grab that one. It's right down by you.
Yeah, the Ripcord's sort of like the sister to the Ripstick, so it's really part of the same family. As you'll see, it doesn't have the 03 construction, but it's essentially the same CTS and very similar DNA in the racket. The difference with this one is it's a lower swing weight. It's really whippy and easier to swing, so you're generating the power through racket head speed as opposed to through the enormous sweet spot from the 03. Yeah, it's definitely a more direct feel, a more compact feel than the Ripstick. But again, it's another one of those frames that's in that power family for us.
I thought this was a really nice racket. You know, if you like to hit with a lot of topspin, it's good for flicking angles. You can really open up the court quickly with this one. Great for rolling those topspin lobs and things like that. And then for the crafty kind of club player, slicer and dicer, it's so easy to get it into position. You can add the spin at the last second. So yeah, fun racket to hit.
Yeah, it really is that quick racket head speed from it that just makes it so addictive to play with. I love playing with this racket too, especially, you know, as I'm not as fast around the court as I used to be. It definitely helps me to just, when I'm a little bit late getting into position or I'm trying to get into net, just to have that ease to get the racket head in the right position is so much fun to play with.
And then you've got one more Ripcord. This is the first time I saw this one in a slightly darker blue. Tell us about that one.
This is the Ripstick, Ripcord 98 XS. This is a new racket that's coming out later in the year. So we've brought a 98 into the Ripcord family. We've slightly opened up the cross section here to allow for a little bit more spin to be generated. It's a bit thinner of a cross section as well. And it just has that really nice compact feel, but still that same DNA as the Ripcord 100. So it's easy to swing through the air, it's easy to generate racket head speed, but just on a more compact and slightly more controllable frame.
And is that one around 300 grams, or did you beef it up a little bit?
Yeah, this one's 305.
305.
Yeah, it's 305. So it's really nice. It's still stable. It's still quick. But it's just it's a really fun frame to play with. I've enjoyed hitting this one a lot.
And that's, you know, some of the fun things that's been fun for us at Tennis Warehouse to work on with you guys at Prince is some of the heritage things. And we've got one here that we had brought back previously, and this was kind of the OG graphite oversized there with the single stripe around it, bumperless construction. Tell us a little bit about that project.
Just a legendary frame. I mean, Prince had its 50th anniversary a few years back, and it was something that when we spoke with you guys, you know, we do a lot of collaboration with you, and we've had a few projects over the last few years that we've been really happy with. Things like the Phantom 93, that was something that came about talking with you guys. I know when we talked about doing the 50th anniversary and bringing some things back, this was like the #1 racket that everybody wanted to bring back. It's the original graphite. You know, it's just such an iconic frame for Prince. I think it's an iconic frame in tennis, and it was so much fun bringing this back, and the reaction we got to everybody using it again, just it's like that feeling of, I remember from when I was growing up, you know, I played this racket. And the number of people that came to us and said that, and they were so happy to have it back. Yeah, it was just such a fun project to work on, and to bring it, you know, with everything that we've done with modern technologies and things, to have something that feels so classic and so familiar, it's just so much fun.
I mean, I really think you guys nailed it with the individual grommets, that, you know, the no bumper, just that mass of that razor chunky racket. Yeah, really fun one to get out and hit. Not a racket I'm gonna probably go out and play
No, of course.
my next match with,
No,
but
sure.
for one to pull out of the bag and have a fun hit with, it's a great racket
Yeah,
to have.
absolutely. Yeah, it's not one that I can, like I said, I'm not moving as quickly as I used to, so it's definitely not one that you can swing as quickly, but it's you get it in the right position, and just the mass of it, it's so easy to hit with. It definitely was fun and brought back a lot of nostalgia. Yeah.
Let's jump into some strings now. We've
Sure.
got some Vortex here, and I remember we spent a bit of time testing this with you guys as
We
well.
did.
Tell us a little bit about this string.
Yeah, so Vortex is it's a shaped polyester string. You know, we've done quite a few different polyesters over the years, and it was something where we were just looking in that shape space. We'd got, you know, the feedback from you guys. We're just looking for a little bit extra bite on the ball, and this is one that we came up with. We also have in the Vortex Triad in the triangular version, but this is a hexagonal shape string, and yeah, it definitely has been it's been popular for us, and I think it gives a great access to spin, so it's definitely worth trying out, because I know there's a lot of options out there, but it's a really good string.
I mean, as opposed to durability, I know a lot of players go to co-polys for that, but for me, co-poly is all about control and spin,
Sure.
and that's Vortex in a nutshell, I think.
Absolutely. Yeah, you're always going to sacrifice a little bit of durability, but you know, if you're looking for that extra performance, sometimes you have to sacrifice a bit of extra durability, and I think, you know, what you get from this is that spin potential, and so if you're really looking for that, it's a great string to play.
All right, let's finish up our chat here with
Another
Singut.
classic.
Singut with Duraflex has been around forever. Still a really
Yeah.
popular string.
It's still a really popular string, you know, a lot like the original graphite. It's one of those products that, you know, Prince was really built on, and you know, this Singut with Duraflex, it's been around long before I've been with the brand. You know, I've been with Prince now for 20 years, and even when I started, this was already a legendary string, and it's still a great string today. It's one of those, you know, everybody's shifting towards polyesters, and I'm always telling people, you know, maybe go and try the Singut. Just go back to it, because that sensation when you hit with the Singut with Duraflex is definitely unlike anything you get with a modern string. And yeah, it's, like I said, it's a classic. Just like the original graphite, it's really something that the brand was built on. So.
And then you've thrown in something like one of the legacy rackets or something like that, and it's just such a sweet fit for a racket like that.
Perfect for that type of player as well. You know, that you give somebody a legacy and they're looking, you know, they've usually got a shorter swing. They're looking for the benefits that you get from the legacy frame with the huge sweet spot. You pair that with a Singut, and it's just a great combination. Yeah, for sure.
Well, Tim, thanks for taking some
It's
time
been a
with us
pleasure,
today.
Chris. I'm really good to see you, and we've got wonderful weather for us. So again, thanks again.
For a full selection of Prince gear, be sure to head to Tennis Warehouse, Tennis Warehouse Europe, or Tennis Only.